Hello and welcome to a custom map cast, this time Deutz. We have Jae4Jett and Talisman. Deutz, of course, made by yours truly, Trick_TV, and Classy Dave for one of the old matches for SMC tournament. We have Jae4Jett insta-locking Armor Company along with Talisman insta-locking German infantry. Jae4Jett is running the 3% increased range on the M20 with a 5% increased sight, and then two 50 cal bulletins, the 3% increased accuracy and the 5% more suppression. On the east end of Deutz, we have Talisman on OST, running 2% faster between shots and reload on the Grenadiers, with 4% increased armor on OST Sniper, and then the increased armor by 5% on the 222. And we have the Assault Engineer squads called in, two of them, and I'm really curious to see how he's going to be able to utilize these on the map, as it is not close quarters at all outside of a few little engagements around site blockers. But for those of you who do not know the map, let's go ahead and look over the cutoffs. We have a cutoff, a master cutoff in the south, a master cutoff in the north for the east and west respectively, and a double cutoff in the north on the east for the fuel, and a double in the south for the fuel, with the munitions right down the middle and VPs offset a little bit to be a wee bit safer. Of course, this is based off of the Hohenzollern Bridge that was bombed out in Cologne, Germany. This is Deutz, which is a small district to the east of where a lot of the main fighting actually happened. But there's the MG42. Pretty standard opening so far from Talisman. Just infantry company, MG42, Grens. The assault engineers getting suppressed up, trying to crawl back home. Might as well just retreat them. There's no real reason for them to stay around, as that MG42 is going to now set up to cover the north, where the rear echelons are at. So maybe he is correct in not retreating them straight away. I thought potentially he would get bullied a little bit more than he did, but he has not. Assault engineers all the way down in the south for free, and right now Jae4Jett just trying to save up manpower to maybe get rifles in, or maybe he's going to call in more assault engineers. I'm not entirely sure, but with the reposition of that MG42, the assault engineers on the negative cover, oh my, I don't think Talisman was really anticipating that much damage, and he doesn't get the wipe, but he's going to get the retreat of that MG42, no problem. That damage he on negative cover with the assault engineers is not to be trifled with, and they do head home. Assault engineers do find a retreat on the Grenadier squad, and now he's trying to dance around this Gren squad, second one. He's trying so desperately. He hops into the house and he just retreats. Will the Grenadiers find the shot? There's no window on this far side. It's just two windows on the front, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and it looks like those assault engineers will make it home. So a ton of damage put out by these assault engineers straight away. Wow, okay, so double assault engineers directly into the lieutenant, which is going to be followed up by a 50 cal, if I had to guess. Nope, he's going into the M20. So another really early light vehicle opening from Jae4Jett, putting his entire strategy on the superiority of having armor on the field very, very quickly. Double fuel income for him again as well. Barbaring up those sandbags in the middle. MG42 supporting the Pioneers. Have we gotten the tech yet? We are just now teching into light mechanized for Talisman. But there's the utility car headed to the front line. Common Warfare 35 Pioneers, so this will be a secondary Pioneer squad from Talisman for sure for the hazard removal. Assault engineers working their way down onto the master cutoff in the south, so despite losing the fuel and this territory point, by contesting this, he loses all of these territory points outside of having the VP under his control, which he does not. So good move here from Jae4Jett, working his way down the middle of the map and sneaking by all of the units that Talisman's currently fielding. And what I'm really wondering is if he's going to upgrade the M2s on these assault engineers, or if he's just going to keep them with their, I believe these are Thompsons? Maybe grease guns? I'm not entirely sure what they're actually wielding. I think it's Thompsons. Yeah, Thompson SMGs. Grenadiers, though, with that flank moving in, he had to cross that negative cover, so he didn't get as much damage as he would have liked. He's going to lose his one squad if he's not careful, but lucky for him, Talisman retreated the one Grenadier squad, so he was able to cover the retreat path a bit. But we have the new 250 half-track, the infantry half-track coming out, and the assault engineers do not win against the Grenadiers in a bush. Who would have thought? Lieutenant putting some work on to the middle area, firing at the retreating squads while the utility car chases away the MG42 and the Flammenwerfer. And now with the infantry half-track, it's the only thing here really to defend. He has to respect the Foss, though, and he backs away with the utility car. There's also, I'm not entirely sure if this is 100% correct. Oh, no, you know what? That's the elite vehicle crew I looked at. Is it grease guns? Does not say. I think it is the grease guns, but USF, I think, is my least played faction outside UKF, so if anybody's going to not know, it's going to be me. Meanwhile, Lieutenant does get caught up by the Flammenwerfer 35 in the 250 clown car. They did get the bazooka upgraded on them, though, so now there's a light deterrent for the light vehicle that Talisman is currently fielding. And the fuel is going back under control in the north for Jae4Jett, with the cutoff being contested again in the south by Jay, so taking away that fuel and munitions for a little bit. The utility car fighting this 250, trying to work its way around the concrete telephone pole here. And he's just going to lose it. And there it goes. Main gun destroyed on the utility car. That's it. Gonna go ahead and get out of there. Is the engine destroyed as well? Yeah, the engine is also destroyed. Sounded like a Fost, but I didn't see where it came from. I think he actually Fosted from down below, like max range just off screen, and it went through the terrain and didn't explode to it. So, unfortunate for Talisman that he wasn't able to get it.
Ready for action.
Ambulance is out. Healing ready to go for Jae4Jett now. Do we have the medical bunker down yet? No, not yet. It's down, but just not upgraded. Talisman looking like he's on the back foot. Light vehicles are in favor of Jae4Jett and the map control. And his answer on Talisman's end, and I do not agree with this at all, is the sniper. The utility car annihilates the sniper. If it finds it at all it has to do is follow like 10 meters and it kills it. Its accuracy on retreating squads is just absolutely insane. Still just plowing into him with the utility car, just tanking these base defenses. He wants to grab this MG42. If he does decrew it, he might pay for the 250. No, or excuse me, 250, the M20. But he pops smoke and drives away. All right, see you later. He did wipe it in base as well. So forced recrew here for Talisman. Cheeky play from Jae4Jett. Jae4Jett paying it forward. And here's the sniper, first show on the lieutenant. Sadly, flanking up in through here equals running into the base, as it does in the north. Just a little bit of asymmetricalness to it, but yeah, you can't just walk up through there without getting suppressed. But good heads-up play for Jae4Jett. And like I said at the beginning of this, Jae4Jett's USF is arguably his best faction. So it seems like he's played with this enough to know that what he can and cannot get away with while the sniper plugs away at the 50 cal in the south. But he's taken the whole map from Talisman. He's relying entirely on this sniper to bleed manpower with squads that he really doesn't have anymore, or a light vehicle he doesn't have. So losing this sniper is probably numero on the objective list for Jae4Jett and squads that he wants to take down, as it's going to be the only thing that really keeps Talisman in this game with its free manpower bleed. Cheeky M5 mine on the VP as well. And there's the shot from the sniper on the assault engineers, and he did opt to go the M20, or the M2 flamethrower on both squads. Utility car drives up into the MG again. And this actually covers the retreat path as well, so if he wins any engagements, now the M20 is parked on the retreat path, and he knows that sniper is down there, so that might be what he's looking for, but with the threat of the grenadiers and the snare here, he's just going to back on it away. Does he get the Fost? Does not look like. Lieutenant fires a bazooka at the Grenadiers. Flammenwerfer Pioneers walking by casually, then finally turn their attention over at the Lieutenant, toast them up. 50 cal here. It is protecting these squads, but the Lieutenant takes too much damage for Jae4Jett and just sent it home. The Sniper now finding a few shots onto the rear echelons. Hanging out in these bushes, cloaks up again at the last second. Then he's going to soft retreat a little bit. The rear echelon shot comes through, but he's in his base essentially, so that Sniper is as safe as it's going to get, really. Nice flank from the Grenadiers after capping up the South VP, or excuse me, munitions. And they scare away the 50 cal just enough to get it to reposition. And with a secondary 50 cal, that's more than enough to go ahead and retreat. Good chunk of damage on retreat, too, from that secondary 50 cal. That increased accuracy bulletin paying off. M20 rolls up again. Has he teched yet? No, he's still just in light mechanized, and he's just building into what I assume is a pack now. But he is entirely stuck in this, just trying to get some sort of fuel or munitions income, anything really, to fight into this. As soon he's going to be fighting the M4A3s from Jae4Jett, and he has no answer for that.
We are losing a sector.
M20 rolling up. This time does finally get caught by the snare, being cheeky, but feeling confident enough that it can just walk away, as there is nothing here to capitalize on this. GRW the choice from Talisman, still not into the pack. 50 cal still hanging out. Assault engineers pushing up with their flamethrower against the own Flammenwerfer squad. And of course, while all of that was going on, the reason the M20 chased up was, of course, getting the Sniper, which is what returned into the GRW for the OST player Talisman. So this M20, definitely a nuisance. Definitely a much better show than the OKW from Jae4Jett from the previous game with this light vehicle opening. M20 is so confident, once it asserts its dominance, runs over the carcass of the building, destroying it further. MG42 getting the suppression onto the assault engineers. GRW fires a shot, doesn't land on the mark. Rifle nade looks like it does next to nothing. The second GRW shot, however, is enough. Focusing down that Grenadier squad. Gonna focus down another Grenadier squad, potentially. He's driving right into the base. He wants that squad if he can get it, and he's not able to. MG42, does he not even have... No, he didn't use the incendiary. He might have been able to pick that up there if he had to use the incendiary, but it's looking bad for our GCS champion, Talisman. Not maybe cheesing a little too hard here with that 250 half-track and losing it to the utility car. It just spiraled out of control from there. But the M4A3 is on the way, and it's going to have the HE deletion shells. And if the Grenadiers were having a hard time staying alive before, it's definitely going to get a lot harder in about 20 seconds. Lieutenant trying to take on these Pioneers. MG42 sight blocked up a little bit. GRW hits into the buildings. Major trying to man fight on the negative cover against the Grenadiers. 50 cal is here to try and help out with this. Talisman desperately trying to get the fuel and come back. Suppression and the M20 now will be more than enough to get these to retreat. MG42 is trying to read into it, going a little bit further, but the utility car just picks up that Pioneer squad, no problemo, and the MG42 and the Grenadier squad headed home. The 222 is the choice, but little does he know the M4A3 is here, and it is going to head to the front line at some point, and then that's it. This utility car, man, I've talked about it so much before the patch, and I don't even think it was touched, but this thing is such an underutilized unit. M15A1 was typically what you would see from people, and it is so strong at killing squads on the retreat, as we've seen over and over again from Jae4Jett. We wanted to pop smoke here, potentially, to try and keep the suppression off of that, but trying to walk all the way up and through the base again, he was not able to do it. M4A3 is here. Is he on the HE shells? He is on the HE shells, and that 222 has a dream I don't think it's going to accomplish much, though. He doesn't even have to switch off the HE shells for this, as they're more than enough to deal with the light armor of the 222. Utility car trying to man fight the M20. Or excuse me, the M20 is the utility car, but you know what I mean. The 222 goes down. He actually does get the utility car finally with a Foss from the Grens. Mission accomplished. While we have the dreidel that is a concrete post, and the M4A3 is just going to sit in the base, and Talisman now not throwing in the towel. What a turn of the game here. Double snare, but another M4A3 headed to the front line. Oh my. I think this might be, since we started up the SMC again, this might be the first loss that we've seen from Talisman ever on stream. A pack finally being built, GRW dead in the base. Is that the Major Arty? Is that the Rapid Strike? Major Arty? It might be. Yeah, I think it is. With the second Sherman rolling forward, he might be able to get this. He does get the medical bunker, but he's reading into the fact that maybe something that is actually coming out to contest him. AKA the pack. He could lose one whole Sherman here. Pack is ready to go. Gren's trying to make a counteroffensive out and out. Sherman back at base. Pack hustling. They're trying their hardest to get all the way up here. They're gonna have to try and land 2 shots onto this Sherman while 50 cal fires at him. Can he do it? Can the attack round happen? The attack round does hit. Looked like a miss. He fires the smoke shot. Does it actually work? The hot fix confirmed. Confirmed. Fixed the Sherman smoke shots before they did not do anything. And here's a secondary workhorse of the USF Army. MG42 has to go home. Not opting to go to the base. Respecting his opponent maybe a little too much here. He could easily drive in with that secondary Sherman. Major wins a fight against Vet 3 Grens. The threat of the 50 cal turning and looking at him too much for Talisman. Medical bunker being rebuilt. He's not throwing in the towel. But what's really interesting to note is that he has a vehicle crew running around, or he did. Yeah. So he has 2 vehicle crews. Now, he popped out one of them on the Sherman to put the M20 squad that he kept alive inside of the Sherman. But what's this one from? What's in here? What do you put in one of these Shermans here? Is one of those is the vehicle crew from the M20, from the looks of things, because he did decrew the one back at base. So that must have been what he was toggling. I was going to question mark it for a little bit there, but I guess he put in the better vehicle crew with the bazooka. Pack fires a shot directly into the Sherman. Sherman doesn't seem to care. Bulldozer available as well. Called in. Secondary Sherman rolls up from the north of the industrial section of Deutz. Another pack queued up. He's just going to park on this pack. Can you reinforce fast enough? No, he cannot. The 2 Shermans parked in his base. Gonna have a hell of a time. Meanwhile, the lieutenant fires bazooka shot after bazooka shot into the infantry company and then deletes that Gren squad. And they're stuck together forever. And what is the glorious dance? And Talisman calls it out just as they stop and break apart. But what a showing from Jae4Jett, showing that the light vehicle opening that he's going for can easily jettison him into the lead, especially if he's able to pick up the light vehicle as opponent, which he did this game, and it was incredibly well executed from Jae4Jett. So we'll go ahead and get into the next one, and for those of you on the replay, or the rerun, or on YouTube, I hope you enjoyed the cast. See you in the next game.